Hello, everybody. My name is Scott Morganroth, the host of the Motor City Mad Mouse Show. I am pleased to have Josh Hader joining us. And Josh, thank you very much for being on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Scott.
You're very welcome. Well, I have to talk to you about your Milwaukee Brewers career because obviously you had quite a career. Tell me what that was all about up there.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Obviously, there's a lot of guys that I played in the minor leagues with, so got to come up with them and spend a lot of time, and we all got to, do a lot of cool things out there in Milwaukee. Went on a lot of good playoff runs, made a lot of good memories, so that was the biggest thing that took away from Milwaukee.
Yeah, it almost seems like that was your coming out party, wasn't it?
That was the first time I got the opportunity to be in the big leagues and got to play and just do what I love, and that was the best thing for me.
Tell me what Milwaukee was like just playing as just a town itself, because I know that they had some great fans out there.
Oh, unbelievable. I mean, obviously, they always showed up, but the biggest thing for me was when we played the Cubs.
Yeah.
Where we were in Chicago, we were in Milwaukee. That was probably one of the greatest rivalries that I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
Just because, if you know the history of the rivalry,
Right.
They're back and forth. And, that was one of my greatest memories playing for them.
One of the things I always loved about your way of doing things is the fact that when you were there, I love your velocity. Tell me what it's like to throw hard day in and day out.
It hurts. No. No, it's fun. I mean, obviously, when you have a high speed fastball, it gives you opportunities that you typically wouldn't have if you were throwing lower velocities.
Right.
So you can get away with a little bit more things. For me, being able to learn the slider and combo that with the fastball definitely gave me a big advantage against hitters.
Yeah, so that's my next question. Great minds think alike, by the way. When you're able to pair up a bunch of pitches to go along with it, don't you feel that reduces the risk of being able to not just depend on the fastball, but reduce the risk of injury as well?
Well, it definitely gives you the opportunity to mix it up, change speeds. Obviously some pitches put different stresses on your arm, so that's definitely a benefit. So you're not just going out throwing 90 plus every single pitch.
How have you been able to maintain the ability to throw hard and still continue to pitch without, up to this point, difficulty and getting hurt?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is sticking to your routine, training and adapting with your body. I think that's the biggest thing. You're going to change throughout each year. So seeing what works for your body and what your body really needs.
Right.
Obviously this was my first injury coming off last year. So,
Right.
There's some things that I've learned along the way to, possibly better prepare myself. Obviously going in multiple innings is taxing. So to be able to be on your game throughout the 162 is very important. So, I think it's just adapting and continue to learn as much as you can.
Yeah, well, this is a two-part question. Again, you led right into it. Well, thank you very much. Let's talk about that one inning save and what it's like day in and day out just to go after that.
I think just pitching in the big leagues is definitely a hard thing to do, but when you're able to come in at the end of the game and close it out, I think that's probably one of the best feelings that I've ever had.
Okay, now I've always thought that Josh Hader is the type of guy that could go ahead and pitch in multiple eras. And why do I say that? Because you're the guy that could go 2 or 3 innings when necessary. How do you like being able to go in for multiple innings, like 2 to 3 innings? Because remember, once upon a time, a former Brewer by the name of Raleigh Fingers, and I could go on with the list of so many as well. But multiple innings is not easy, especially at a time where most of these days are going with one. And to me, you're as old school as you can in the modern era, and I commend you for that.
Thank you. I would say definitely back in the day was a much different ball game than it is now. But for what those guys did, they were just taking the ball whenever, throwing as many pitches. I can't say that I was at that tier of level, but starting out in my career, being able to do multiple innings and give the team anything I can was definitely a great opportunity for me just to learn how to pitch to hitters and learn my craft a lot more. I had more opportunity to go through a lineup, so that was definitely a big learning experience for me just to learn how to pitch. Now going in, mostly doing 1 innings, but also a few 2 innings. That's an opportunity to give guys different opportunities in the bullpen. Obviously giving Joe the opportunity to use me in extra innings if needed.
Do you like multiple inning save opportunities?
I mean, I would say definitely one innings are definitely easier.
Okay.
I don't hate the 2 innings. I definitely think it's definitely a lot taxing. So you got to be pretty smart with how you use them. And I think that it's something that you can't just burn yourself out with. But
Okay.
there are definitely benefits to it. But
Right.
I think at the end of the day, we're just trying to win ball games, and if we can do that, we're gonna make that happen.
You ever contemplated being a starter?
I never got the opportunity. Obviously in minor leagues, I came up as a starter, and then
Did
once I got to the big leagues, they moved me to the bullpen. So I never actually got the opportunity to start in the big leagues. I would love to, but I feel like where I'm at now, I'm in a good role, and I really enjoy it. I think the adrenaline that comes from closing is one of the best feelings.
A few more questions, and I appreciate the time. Let's talk about your career in San Diego. I know it really had to be difficult leaving Milwaukee because it seemed to be a place that you really liked to play, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would say, like I said earlier in the talk, well, I grew up with a lot of these guys coming through the minor leagues,
Right.
and for me to have that relationship with those guys, and obviously we were there for 5+ years in the big leagues. That's something that you build your families around, and everybody starts to know each other. You hang out more.
Right.
So yeah, that was definitely hard. But San Diego, that transition over there was great. I got traded over in a time where I was struggling.
Okay.
There was 2 or 3 months where I couldn't figure it out. So I went over to San Diego, and they really changed my mentality on
Right.
how to pitch, and just give me opportunity just to fail. I think that was the biggest thing. I struggled through there quite often, and eventually we got towards the end of the year, and we ended up making playoffs, and my season really turned around and finished off on a great note.
Okay, you've arrived here in Houston. Obviously, a new experience, new expectations. Well, tell me what it's been like to be a Houston Astro.
Oh, it's been amazing. The fan base is top notch.
Is
I
it?
think that's been the best thing. Obviously, the city of Houston has been great for me and my family. Obviously, we spent a little bit of time in Houston in the minor leagues, so that was cool to kind of full circle that for me and my family. Obviously, Texas is very big to us, so obviously just getting to play with guys that I played with in the minor leagues, Lance, Carlos, some other guys. I think that was something that I cherish. Obviously, getting to play with Jordan and Tuve and those type of guys. Like, this team and this organization is a winning organization, and when you can bring top caliber guys day in and day out and continue to do great things, that's something you want to be a part of.
Were you a little disappointed that you guys fell just a little bit short last year? I know you were in it the whole time.
Yeah, I think that's the game of baseball. You never know what could happen, and it comes down to that last game.
Right.
Unfortunately, we didn't make it, but we know that what we got to do to make it this year, and we're going to do everything we can to get back into the playoffs.
Yeah, how do you like what the Astros are looking like this year?
Oh, amazing. We got some big pieces, obviously, adding Imai and some other guys. But I think, ultimately we got a really sound team if we can stay healthy, which I think is the hardest thing in this game. If we can all stay healthy, I think we'll be right where we need to be.
And my final question is this: your career. How do you like the way it's gone so far? What do you feel you have left to do, not only individually but as a team?
We got to win a World Series. We got to obviously Houston. They have 2 already, but I think the ultimate goal is to win World Series. And if we don't do that, that's a failure of the season. Obviously, you can learn from each one, but ultimate goal is to hold that trophy at the end and be the last team standing.
Well, Josh Hader joining the Motor City Mad Mouse Show. My name is Scott Morganroth. Pleased to be joined by Josh Multiple Innings Hader, which you don't see nowadays in 2025-26. But Josh, I want to thank you very much for being a part of the show. And I've always tracked your career, and I'll certainly remember our time together here over in West Palm Beach. And I look forward to seeing you do a lot more great things. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thanks,
appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you. Have a good one.
You too.